Please state your name and who are you?
Hello everybody, my name's Ori Spotto. I'm known as the accidental gangster. From insurance salesman to Hollywood fixer.
What are you up to now, Ori?
Well, at 78 years old, I'm up to a lot of things. Everybody knows there's a movie in the works being made off of my book, The Accidental Gangster, being written and directed by George Gallo, who did Midnight Run, Bad Boys, 29th Street, whole slew of others. Produced by Nick Vallanoga, three-time Oscar winner for Green Book, Sean Robbins, for Mortal Kombat, my son Anthony Spado, a producer, and my personal consultant.
Tell me how you became known as the accidental gangster.
Well, honestly, that was something, I've been an avid reader all my life. I began in Rome, New York, when the teachers used to put me in a cloakroom, okay, because I was a bad boy, and the library was next. I used to go in and sneak books out. I loved reading, and then in prison, I read over 300 books. And I read to this day, I read every day. While I was walking the yard up at Lompoc one day, I just, in my head, if I ever wrote a book, not dreaming I would call it The Accidental Gangster. Because it's not like, my father wanted that for my life or anything like that there. Maybe the blood was in me, stemming from my grandfather, okay? Upon my release from prison, a lot of people wanted me to do reality shows and this and that and coming to me, and I had lunch or dinner with my entertainment lawyer. Happens to be one of the best entertainment lawyers in Hollywood, with Hirsch, Wallenstein, Hayem, Matloff, and Fishman. And George Ham, we had dinner at the Four Seasons, and he looked at me and says, "You gotta write a book. I know your story. We'll get a movie made."
I heard you have a talk show called Stories with Ori. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, this is just beginning, Stories with Ori. People have been asking me for years. And this came from a gal named Michelle Murad, who happens to be right down the street, has a lot of relatives in Utica, New York, and I was born in Rome, New York, and she interviewed me one time, and it was an awesome interview, and that's how that name Stories with Ori came. So it's going to be a talk show, totally different than most shows, because I'm going to have a lot in like Hollywood people. Yes, I'll have some celebrities. Maybe I'll get Leonardo DiCaprio, you never know. Maybe I'll get George Clooney, you never know. So I'm going to have some of the best motivational speakers, legitimate trainers, people who really do things, like Bill Walsh, Mo Rock, who owns the Los Angeles Tribune, all right, people in that area. And of course, I'm going to have George Gallo as a guest, Nick Vallanoga, Sean Robbins, Peter Conti, Pete Antico, and I'm going to have a whole list of people that you're going to see. You're going to hear their stories, how they began. Nobody began at the top in Hollywood. Everybody had to come from someplace.
How do you compare yourself to the show Ray Donovan?
Well, let me tell you, that Ray Donovan show was a great show. I did watch it upon my release from prison. Pooch Hall played John Voight's son in Ray Donovan. Now, the first season of Ray Donovan was filmed in Los Angeles. And we had a dinner for the whole cast at the Bowler restaurant. And Pooch came in from Connecticut. And the first person he asked for when he walked into the restaurant was, "Where's Ori?" And he says, "Everybody in Connecticut sends all their love and respect to you." I said, "Pooch, I'm a little pissed off at you and those guys producing Ray Donovan." "Oh, yeah, why, sir?" I said, "Because they actually used a couple of things that I really did. Of course, they glorified it for TV. I said, but I know they took them from me. I said, and they never asked me or paid me to be a consultant. So that's the story of Ray Dunham. I lived my life according to the way it was laid out in front of me. I have no regrets. Regrets and negativity. And I take full responsibility for everything I've done in my life. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and there was some ugly.